Silent Hill 1 Remake is easily one of the most anticipated games in the entire franchise. After the huge success of Silent Hill 2 Remake, Konami dropping Silent Hill 1 Remake announcement during the showcase had me, and honestly the entire fan base, losing our minds. Just picture it, Harry Mason wandering through Silent Hill again, this time in full modern graphics, the snowy fog, the empty streets, the haunting atmosphere, and of course, everyone's already asking the obvious questions. What will the monsters look like? How will the soundtrack be tweaked and reimagined like they did in Silent Hill 2? But beyond that, I keep thinking, what about the characters? How will Harry Mason look in 2025 visuals? What about Cheryl? How will they sound? Their designs? Their clothes? Let's be real. Blooper already changed up Maria's look in Silent Hill 2, so what other redesigns could we see in Silent Hill 1? How far will they push it? How faithful will they really stay to the original story? But here's the question I don't think anyone is asking. What if Silent Hill 1 gave us a second campaign? What if we could play the story through the eyes of Cybil Bennett? See, this idea isn't new. Back in the early 2000s, there was a Japan exclusive Game Boy Advance visual novel called Play Novel Silent Hill. It let you experience the events of the first game as Harry Mason, but after finishing his story, you unlock an entire second campaign from Cybil Bennett's perspective. It showed what she was doing in parallel, with branching choices and unique endings. That game was primitive, sure. It was just text and choices on a screen, and the concept was genius. But that was 20 years ago, on a Game Boy Advance cartridge. Imagine what the idea would look like if it was fully fleshed out inside a modern remake. Imagine this. You finished the main game. You've saved Cybil from the parasite, defeated the cult's deity, and escaped with baby Heather alongside Cybil just behind you. And the credits roll. Then, on the title screen, a second option appears. Cybil Bennett campaign. You click it, and the screen fades to black. It fades back in. You're looking into a bedroom, a small, cozy bedroom. A lamp in the corner throws off a soft glow. Posters are taped unevenly across the walls. A pop band, a cartoon character, and a horse poster that looks like it came straight out of a 90s magazine. A dollhouse sits in the corner, on the dresser. A few worn out storybooks, and in the middle of it all, a child lies asleep in bed. Her breathing steady, blankets bunched at her side. Outside, the world is still alive. You can faintly hear the sound of a car passing by, headlights streaking through the window just for a moment. It's peaceful, quiet, until a sound. Faint, just enough to make the girl shift under the covers, adjusting, half conscious, but she settles back into sleep. Then again, louder this time. She stirs, her eyelids crack open slightly, the way you do when you're not sure if you're dreaming or awake. She stares into the dimly lit room, confused, before her head sinks back into her pillow. Then, a third time, much louder, drawn out, a rattling, violent. She shoots right up in bed, startled. Her small hands clutch the blanket. Confusion turns into fear as muffled shouts and struggling echoes faintly from another room. The door bursts open. Her mom rushes in, blonde hair disheveled, blue eyes wide in panic. "Honey, get up. We have to go, now." The little girl stampers, confused, but then heavy footsteps. A man's voice, low, rough, unfamiliar, not her father's. Her mother freezes. Then she scoops the girl up in her arms, whispering, "Shh, stay quiet." She carries her quickly to the closet, sets her inside, and shuts the door. Just as the latch clicks shut, her father bursts into the room, grappling with the intruder. The girl peeks through the thin wooden slats of the closet door. Trembling, from that narrow view, she sees everything. Her father, voice hoarse from yelling, struggling against the stranger, not a neighbor, not anyone the girl knows, a complete intruder. The fight is brutal, fist, bodies crashing against furniture, a lamp shattering against the floor. Her mother hovers nearby, terrified, hands clenched at her chest, not knowing how to intervene. The gun is knocked from the intruder's hands. It skids across the floor. Both men lunge for it, her father's fingers brushing the weapon, but the intruder yanks him back by the hair, dragging him down. They struggle, both desperate, grunting, clawing for control. The girl's mother finally steps forward, panicked, trying to help, but then it's too late. Her father collapses. The intruder struggles with the mother before smashing his elbow into the mother's face. She stumbles back, dazed, a second flash. She crumbles beside her husband, and then silence. The girl trembles in the darkness, clutching her knees, listening, till finally, the sound of footsteps retreating, the door slamming shut. The little girl bursts out the closet. Her parents are on the ground, motionless. She rushes to her mother, shaking her shoulders. "Mom, wake up. Please, wake up." No answer. She calls to her father. "Dad? Please, wake up." Her small voice breaks into sobs, echoing through the house. Years later. Cybil Bennett sits at her desk in the quiet Brams police station. She's on the phone with the Silent Hill PD when suddenly the line cuts out. She tries calling back. Nothing. "Hello? Hello? Are you there?" she mutters. Her coworker Sally leans over the desk, smirking. "Perfect. I wonder what's going on." "It's probably just a glitch," Cybil replies, voice tight, glancing at the dead phone. Sally chuckles. "Or maybe they just don't want to talk to you anymore. You are a little hostile." "Hostile?" Cybil raises an eyebrow. A faint smile tugged at her lips. "Perhaps I do tend to say exactly what I'm thinking." Ignoring Sally's teasing, she grabs her helmet. "I'm heading out," she says, grabbing her jacket. Sally groans. "Wait, just where do you think you're going at this hour?" Cybil just smirks. "Don't worry about me." She slams the door behind her. The engine roars to life as she rides into the night. At first, the warm summer wind whips against her face, but the air turns colder, unnaturally cold. "That's weird," she mutters, tightening her grip on the handlebars. Then she spots a Jeep up ahead, Harry Mason's. "Normally I'd pull this guy over," she mutters, "but not tonight." She pushes forward, speeding past him. Fatigue sets in. Her vision blurs. Then, suddenly, a girl appears in the road, arms raised. Cybil slams on the brakes and swerves at the last minute, and the world goes black. She wakes up in the middle of a fog-shrouded street, snow falling out of season. Her bike is gone. The silence is heavy with fog. She stumbles to her feet, staring at the sign, Silent Hill. Cybil stumbles through the street, snow crunching under her boots. She peers through the thick fog, trying to make sense of the eerie quiet street. A faint scrapping sound drifts through the air. She tilts her head, curious. "What's that?" she mutters, her voice barely carrying over the wind. She rounds a corner and freezes. A blood-stained fence looms in the dim light. The stench hits her first, metallic, pungent, and nauseating. Her stomach twists as her eyes fall on the corpse, slumped over the fence. Heart pounding, Cybil keeps her hand on her holster, slowly inching forward. She slides her hand along the grip, readying her weapon, but doesn't draw it. Yet. The alley is dark and silent. She steadies her breath as the faint scrapping sound echoes ahead. She moves further in, the fog parts just enough for her to see him. Harry Mason, weak, stumbling against the creatures that swarm around him. Her instincts kick in, and she finally draws her gun, keeping it raised and ready. "Hey, over there," she shouts. Firing at the nearest creature, they recoil, giving her a path to reach him. She pushes through, adrenaline coursing through her veins and catching him just before he collapses, completely. Surrounding him with one arm, she keeps her gun trained on the remaining creatures. "You're hurt. Stay with me," she says firmly, scanning the area for any more threats. Harry, barely conscious, nods, weakly, just before he goes completely unconscious. In the original Silent Hill, Cybil Bennett was a supporting figure, a presence in the background. In this reimagining, she becomes fully playable. And that shift is more than just surface level. Playing as Cybil redefines how Silent Hill feels in your hands. Where Harry Mason begins with shaky aim and limited stamina, Cybil arrives in the nightmare with the foundation of training. This translates into mechanics immediately. Her weapon sway is minimal, allowing for faster aim under pressure, reload animations are shorter. A small detail, but one that changes the tempo of every encounter. Even unarmed, she fights with authority. While Harry struggles with improv swings of a pipe, Cybil can use police baton techniques, close range takedowns, and even her fists with a degree of precision. These differences don't make the game easier, they reframe its tension. Playing as Harry, you survive by the skin of your teeth. Playing as Cybil, you start with control, only to watch it erode as the town pushes back. The mechanics reflects this erosion. Early in the campaign, her stamina bar is longer, her recovery is quicker, but as the chapters progress and Silent Hill wears her down, fatigue sets in. The sway she once controlled begins to creep in. Her reloads grow fractionally slower. The authority she carried in the fog is slowly dismantled in real time, and the player feels it, not just in the cutscenes, but in their inputs. And this creates a subtle rhythm: confidence at the start, then the slow unraveling of that confidence in the very systems that once redefined her. It mirrors the story without ever needing to tell you directly. Every missed shot, every delayed swing, every labored breath becomes part of the narrative. This time, Cheryl Mason isn't just a target you're chasing. She's here. She's present. For the first time, you actually get to talk to her. You get to hear her thoughts, see how she reacts, see the way she moves through Silent Hill, and really start to understand her. She's scared, sure, but she's not just a scared little girl. She's quiet, she's thoughtful, carrying this weight you don't quite understand at first. There's a scene where you sit down on the bench with her. It's simple, quiet, but it's powerful. You talk, she talks. You start to see her, not as someone you have to save, but as someone you're alongside. And that changes everything. Every step with her feels different because you're not just avoiding monsters, you're watching out for her, listening to her, letting her exist in this space with you. Gameplay reflects that too. Cheryl can't fight. She doesn't have a gun. She doesn't have a flashlight. She can duck. She can run, but it's all up to you to guide her, to protect her, to make sure she survives. And that tension, that responsibility, it shifts the way you play. You think differently about danger. You think about positioning. You think about the moments where she's close to something you didn't see. Subtle, but it matters. It adds layers. The same town, the same horrors, suddenly feels different because there's someone here you care about. You start to feel for her in ways the original campaign didn't let you. In the end, Cheryl isn't just someone you're protecting. She's a companion, a presence that shapes the story, shapes the tension, shapes how you think about Silent Hill. She finally feels like a real character, not just a goal to reach. And that, being able to see her, talk to her, and be near her, is what makes this campaign feel alive in a new way. In this campaign, the escort mechanic makes every step matter. Cheryl doesn't just follow blindly. She pauses at doorways, hides under tables, and reacts to the environment. Small prompts let you tell her to stay, move, or hide. If she lingers too close to danger, enemies respond more aggressively. If she's out of sync, you have to adjust, balance your stamina, and think about timing in ways you wouldn't if you were alone. Every encounter is about precision, awareness, and timing, not just brute force. That tension spills into players' headspace. Suddenly you're thinking differently. You're not only surviving, you're protecting. You're anticipating Cheryl's actions and positioning while navigating through threats. What once was a straightforward fight becomes a subtle choreography. For Cybil herself, it adds another layer. Having Cheryl nearby reminds her of why she became a cop in the first place, to protect people. Her training gives her an edge. She's alert, tactical, able to read threats quickly. But Silent Hill pushes against that. The stress of being responsible for a child in the hostile world sharpens her focus, but also exposes her vulnerabilities. There are moments where the weight of responsibility and the memories tied to her past peek through. Hesitation, guilt, doubt. She remains capable and rational, but underneath, there's a subtle human of fragility. Even the smallest actions, picking up Cheryl's abandoned doll, guiding her through a corridor, carry emotional resonance, connecting gameplay mechanics to character depth in a way the character can feel firsthand. Honestly, giving Cybil her own campaign with an escort system would be really cool. The night air feels colder here. Harry Mason steps into the cracked wooden platform of the merry-go-round, each board creaking beneath his boots. The painted horses loom around him, their chipped faces frozen mid-gallop, glass eyes staring into nothing. The carousel itself moans as the wind shifts, its rusted gears groaning loudly. And then he sees her, Cybil Bennett. She rises from the wheelchair with deliberate slowness, her movements uncanny, too rigid to be natural, too precise to be entirely human. The parasite twitches beneath her skin, making her stagger and then straighten. Her face is blank, no warmth, no flicker of recognition, only her eyes glowing faint red, unblinking. Harry's throat tightens. He knows this isn't Cybil anymore, at least not fully. Without a word, she begins walking towards him, slow, steady steps. Then, without hesitation, she draws her pistol. The first shot cracks through the night. Harry dives sideways. The round explodes into the wooden post inches from his head. Splinters cut his cheek. He scrambles, running between the carousel horses, the air sharp in his lungs. The second shot follows. As he sprints mid-strife, the bullet shoots into the side of the horse with a sickening ding. It was aimed directly at his chest, but he doesn't stop, doesn't dare. Only when he ducks behind the middle horse does he realize how close it was. His heart hammers. If he hadn't run fast enough, if that horse hadn't been there, the round would have gone straight through his ribs, straight through his heart. Two more shots. One ricochets off the platform, the other grazes his cheek. A hot, stinging line across his skin. His head jerks instinctively at the last second, and he realizes something horrifying. She hadn't missed. The shot was perfect, dead on for his skull. The only reason he's alive is because of the parasite's twitch. The platform creaks. He peeks out from behind the horse. Cybil isn't firing anymore. She's searching. Her steps echo, slow, deliberate. The gun lowers slightly. Her head tilts, almost curiously, as if sniffing him out in the fog. "Harry," she calls out softly. It's Cybil's voice, but wrong, shaky, strained, like someone's tugging her words out by force. "Harry, it's me. It's me. I don't know what's happening. Please, help me." For a moment, his heart lurches, but then he hears it, the faint tremor beneath her tone, the unnatural cadence. A grunt escapes her throat right after, like the words were a mask. It isn't her, not anymore. He presses his back against the cold flank of the horse, gripping his pistol until his knuckles ache. Silence. Her steps grow faint, then vanish. Cautiously, he peers out. Cybil is perched atop one of the carousel horses, legs crossed, her gun balanced in her hand. She looks at him with a half smile, eerie, almost human, but with eyes still burning that faint, unholy red. For a moment, she looks confused, almost horrified. Then the blank mask returns. Harry raises his pistol and hears empty. Cybil tilts her head and leaps down from the horse. First shot tears through the air and shoots Harry's side, just below the ribs. White hot pain explodes through him, staggering his stride, but the adrenaline keeps his legs moving. Her second shot cracks off just as Harry swings his rusty pipe, smashing against the barrel of her pistol. The gun jerks. The bullet sparks into a carousel pole. This isn't luck. This is survival by inches, and Cybil is too good, too trained. Even under the parasite's control, her aim is relentless. He hears the hollow click from Cybil in front of him. She stares at her gun, her face unreadable. Then without hesitation, she hurls it aside. The weapon clatters against the metal floor, echoing into the night. And then she lunges. She slams into Harry, grabbing for his weapon. He resists, shoving back, but with a trained fluidity, she drives her fist into his stomach as she rips the melee weapon from his grip and throws it aside. The blow forces the air from his lungs. Before he can recover, she grabs his arm, pivots, and flips him clean over her shoulder. His body slams into the carousel floor. With a bone-rattling force, pain shoots up his spine. He tries to crawl back, but Cybil is already on him. Her hands clamp around his throat, both of them squeezing. Harry thrashes, his vision tunneling. "Cybil, stop." Her face is blank, no expression, only the glow of her eyes. He claws at her wrist, choking, gasping, his lungs screaming for air. Desperation floods every nerve. The final burst of strength, he kicks upward, his legs launching her backwards. She crashes to the floor, releasing him. Harry coughs violently, dragging in breath, but she's already rising, already coming back. As Harry struggles upright, she lunges from behind, her hand snatching at the back of his coat. He drives an elbow backward. Once, twice, the first strike lands with a crack that jolts her head back. But as she stumbles back, her other hand snags his coat in desperation. Stumbling, she drags him with her. Harry swings again, but she blocks. They stagger together, locked in a violent grapple. Then her leg sweeps from under him, and he crashes down hard. She falls with him. Her arm snakes up around his throat, both arms clenching tight around his neck. Her grip is like iron. This time, she has him in a chokehold, tight, inescapable. His nails dig into her arms, but it's useless. His eyes roll back, breath dwindling, darkness presses in, and then a flash of memory. The serum, the vial in his pocket. His hands stumble desperately, scraping against fabric until his fingers curl around it. With the last of his strength, he smashes it against her face. The red liquid bursts across her skin. Cybil jerks backwards, a scream tearing from her throat. Steam rises from her as she stumbles away, clawing at her face, her back slamming into the metal pole of the carousel. She thrashes, convulses, the parasite underneath her skin writhing violently. And then, with a grotesque ripple, it forces its way out. The creature slithers onto the platform, twitching, pulsing, shrieking in some unearthly voice. Harry stumbles forward, his boots smashing down hard. The parasite bursts beneath his heel with a wet crunch. Silence falls. Cybil collapses on the floor, gasping, trembling. The glow fades from her eyes. For the first time tonight, her voice is her own. "Harry?" He kneels down beside her, exhausted. Relief floods through him. The nightmare is far from finished, but for now, for this moment, he has her back. And that brings us to an end. What I wanted to do here was take one of Silent Hill's most memorable moments, Harry and Cybil in the carousel, and show how it could be reimagined as something more intense, more physical, and more emotionally gripping than just, point and shoot encounter. By giving Cybil's training, instincts, and even the parasite's subtle manipulations a stronger role in the fight, the scene becomes richer, scarier, and more unforgettable. This wasn't about rewriting Silent Hill, but it was about exploring what could be. A small idea expanded into something that hopefully feels cinematic and true to the spirit of the series. I made this purely for fun, as a fan who loves imagining how these iconic moments would be elevated in a remake or reimagining. But now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about a fight like this? Do you think a fight like this would make Silent Hill stronger? Or is the original simply more effective? Do you agree, disagree, or have your own vision for how this moment could play out? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. Thanks for sticking with me through the whole breakdown. Peace out.